today is about the 100th day of kindergarten. That's a very special day. It means we've been in our kindergarten class for 100 whole days. This week we'll celebrate that day on Friday. Our book today was written by Joseph Slate, and it was illustrated by Ashley Wolf. There are several books about Miss Bindergarten, and this one is called Miss Bindergarten Celebrates the 100th Day. The story is fiction. Miss Bindergarten is not a real person. She's just a make-believe character in our story. The book is fiction. It is also a fantasy. A fantasy is a story that could never really happen. How can we tell that it's a fantasy just by looking at our front cover? I can see that Miss Bindergarten is a dog and the students are animals. And we know that in real life that would never happen, right? So it must be a fantasy. Tomorrow we celebrate, says Miss Bindergarten, the 100th day of kindergarten. 100 days of friends, 100 days of fun, 100 days of darling, dazzling, winning work you've done. So remember that tomorrow all of you must bring 100 of some wonderful 100-full thing. I'm thinking, if tomorrow is the 100th day of kindergarten for this class, then today must be the 99th. That night, Adam's fort is finished. Brenda's half asleep. Christopher's 100 blocks tumble in a heap. Miss Bindergarten gets ready for the 100th day of kindergarten. Here's a place for me to infer. When I infer, I think about what I know and try to figure out something new. I know that Miss Bindergarten is planning for the 100th day, and I know she's bringing lots of things that add up to 100. So I can infer that the things in her cart and the things that she's bringing also add up to 100. The next morning, Danny counts out cereal, Emily fills a vase, Franny draws a picture of her 100-year-old face. Miss Bindergarten gets ready for the 100th day of kindergarten. Gwen creates a poster. Henry claps and cheers. Anne brings a relative who's lived 100 years. Miss Bindergarten gets ready for the 100th day of kindergarten. How many hats do you think she's going to make? Well, I would think 100, but there's not 100 people in her class, so she'll probably only make enough for the friends in her class. How many fish do you think are in the fish tank, though? Probably 100. Jessie pokes her polka dots. Kiki carries tarts. Lenny hugs a bag full of 100 candy hearts. Miss Bindergarten gets ready for the 100th day of kindergarten. It looks like Miss Bindergarten has put up signs on the clothesline. Let's look and see what they say. Oh, they all start with the words, I could eat 100. And it looks like all the kids have filled them up with different things that they would eat 100 of. One kid said peanuts, watermelons, potato chips, apples, pizzas, crackers, bananas, and grapes. What would you eat 100 of? Maddie's bells go ding-a-ling. Noah tooty toots. Ophelia's stuck with stickers from her hat down to her boots. We're going to stop our story there for today. But while we stop, let's go ahead and map out our story so when we come back to it tomorrow, we can remember some of the things we read about. So the first thing we want to talk about is the setting of our story. Now, a lot of the kids are at home or getting ready, but the main setting of that story is the school. So let's see if we can draw a picture of the school. Okay. I'm going to draw a red building and I'm going to draw a black roof for the school. Okay. Here's my school. Let's make a door and some windows. There we go. And then I want to label it. When I say the word school, 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 sk. Ooh, that sounds like two sounds. I'm going to do an S and a C. Ooh, that's that O-O sound, and ul is L. Now that looks pretty good. I'm going to tell you though, the real way that you write school is actually like this. S-C-H-O-O-L. So that's the real way to spell school. But this is the way you probably would spell it. Now let's talk about characters, okay? Who's our main character? Miss Bindergarten. I'm going to write her name right here. Okay, Miss Bindergarten. She's a dog, and that's how we knew it was a fantasy, right? Because dogs can't really be teachers. All right, and then there are also all of the students. Now, you may not have noticed, but the students' name actually go in order of the alphabet. So they start at A, and I think we ended on a student who is on O. So let's think about what letter the student will start with tomorrow. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. So tomorrow's first student should start with the letter P. So our characters, the main character is Miss Bindergarten, and then there's also all of the students. Now, let's think about the problem that they have in this story, okay? Now, the problem is not really that big of a problem. It looks like everybody's trying to figure out what 100 things they want to bring to school, okay? And they're figuring it out. So we've got some kids who have brought all kinds of different stuff, right? We had somebody build a tower. Somebody had blocks. Miss Bindergarten was getting ice cubes together. Okay, and so they were all thinking of different ways that they could make 100, right? And so tomorrow we'll see what the rest of the kids decide to bring.